Okay, so I hope that music's not too loud, although it's quite an interesting selection, I have to say. So what we're going to look at here then is the base damage calculator. So for this base, we're looking at the area then clearly before the channel. So it's all that where the warehouses are, down as far as the turrets on the outer ring and the oil rigs as well. So two things we need to use. One obviously is the base itself. We're going to use it in this mode, not just yet. And then obviously BP Prof's base hit point calculator as well. Combine the two things together and you should be able to work out your bubble pad pretty accurately. Now this has been configured, obviously the latest update's been done for the OP8 updates and the level 14 warehouses. Right, so the first thing to do is to work out what you actually own and then put those figures in to the HP calculator itself, which is not that onerous, and actually it's quite straightforward. So from here, it's best, this is the way I like to do it, is go into the base planner and then stash everything, and then from there you can open up the key areas that are important. And what we do is basically you look at the number for the corresponding building and you populate that number then in the base calculator. So like labs is the first thing. So we've got the weapons lab, the navals lab. Well, you can read the list: advanced, intel, retro, and tac. So we just need to know what levels those are first. So I generally have a bit of a pen and paper because I'm flicking from one to the other. So we want to look at the weapons lab first, the naval. Okay, obviously the advance, and the intel, then the retro, and then the tac lab. Okay, there's some generic figures that's already been set up in here, but not everybody's going to have them set to this standard. Some people already have the intel lab set at level 10. So let's have a look over here then. So have we got any labs here? No, we haven't. Okay, so let's look in the research panel for a start then. So first thing is the weapons lab itself then. So we can see that's level 11. So I'll put 11 next to that. I'm just writing these down on a bit of paper basically. Then one in the nav lab itself. Okay, naval lab is 11 as well. So that's the advanced lab done, and that's the naval lab done. Next then, we're looking for weapons lab. You see the weapons lab is also 11 as well. Intel lab, that's a 10. The retrofit lab, that's a level 5. And the tactical lab then is a level 6. Okay, so we flip back across then to the base calculator. We just confirm that is correct, and it is already actually. So top of shot then, weapons lab here, 11, 11, 11, 10, 5 and 6. Good. Okay, so that's the first column done. So that's your labs done. So next one we need to confirm, obviously. So looking for the OP itself. Now we're going to call the OP as OP levels 8, because obviously that's where everyone's going. Although we could look at the bubble pad before and then after, in fact. Anyway, so there's a couple of things there that don't obviously matter. Great Hall, radio tower, as you can see, and the training post. They don't have a an upgrade level, but obviously they do have a hit percentage point. You can see, by the way, based off looking back up to labs, then you've got obviously the 6 labs there that work, and at those levels of obviously 3 at 11, 1 at 10, and the 5 and the 6, it only gives you of the total base power for the hit points of 4.7%, which is not huge when you think about it. Looking down at the labs, the utility buildings, then. So we're going to have the utility pack next. So we've got the outpost itself. Okay, we've got the Great Hall, which is, we don't need to worry about those, to be honest. So we'll just go for the outpost. We'll just go for the launch pad and the shipyard. The dock itself then, and the War Academy. Okay, so yet again, we're going to flip across then and have a look then at the base, look at these utility buildings. Now they're not always in the same sort of place, so straight away then let's look what we can pick up then. So outpost at the moment is 7, so that's fine. Okay, and then we'll look at the launch pad itself, which is 5. And then the shipyard, which is level 3, so that's different to what's actually set on the calculator. The dock itself, which is 12 currently at the moment, and the War Academy, which is also 14. Okay, switch page then. So outpost 7, yeah. Launch pad 5, we've got that. Shipyard 3, so there we go, we can change that stat straight away and look at the difference when it does change. It'll go from 4,000 hit points. Okay, let's reload it. Let's try again then. So, launch pad, shipyard is up to level 3. And there we go, so it's gone from 4,000 up to 6,000. The dock is obviously at dock 12, that's correct, and the War Academy. Right, so that's jumped up now considerably, isn't it, at the moment? As a percentage then, of 16.7%. But it's very interesting, as soon as you click, and I can do this now, this is what's going to happen once you go to outpost 8. Look at the percentage figure then, for the utility buildings. 62.4. 62.4% jump from what was 16.7% jump. That's massive, and that's why you have to bring up your warehouses or your turrets to correspond. So let's leave it at 7 for the moment, and let's look at utilities at the moment then. So next, that's all the utilities done. Like I said, the Great Hall, Radio Tower, and the trading post has no impact. Next then, it's the utility buildings themselves. After those, it's going to be our warehouses. So let's look back across again. So that's going to be our resources area. And there we go, warehouses there. So our warehouses then, okay, we've got 5. We've got 5 level 13 warehouses, a 3 and a 2. The reason they're in 2 different columns, obviously, they've got different fits on them. So they've got additional items on them as part of the retrofit packs. However, all 5, look, are level 13. So, as opposed to here then, where it isn't, so it's going to be a 13 and a 13, and all the way down through the group. And there we go. Okay, so you can see that increase now. So just the warehouses represent obviously then 14.5%. And then we've got to work out how many resource generators we've got of the 4 different types. And everybody's base is going to be different. This is why there's not a generic program that just sets out everybody's base, because it depends on what you actually want. So we can shrink down the warehouses, and we'll put the rest. Now, looks like we've got 1 level 11 oil rig and 5 level 10s. So let's make this one an 11, and then 5 10s. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, because there isn't a 7 and 8, we're going to go 0 and 0. And that's all the oil rigs. So you can see then where I put in 0, the corresponding hit points has gone to 0 as well. So energy, metal, and xanthan. So I don't think there's any of those at all. Oh yes, there is then. In fact, there's 1 of each, isn't there? 1 metal, level 3, 1 wind, level 3, and 1 xanth, level 6. And that's it. That's all he's got. So we've got a 3, a 3, and a 6. So that's a 3. Rest of zeros. That's a 3. And the rest of zeros. and that's a 6. Let's just scroll down a bit. Okay, so that's all the resource generators done. So there's very few there. But look at the percentage points. 1.6%, which is why you can dot them where you fancy around your base, because the impact is minimal. You can dot them all around the outside of your base so long as you don't get a retarget on the base, because the percentage of the total base power is minuscule, and it's just annoying they've got to go around and clear them up first when they do the prep. If they choose to, that is. So last of all then, all we've got to do is the turrets themselves. Now these do take a little bit of they're definitely worth writing down. It doesn't matter what's on the turret, it's just the level of the turret itself. So defense for that. And it's the platforms. We don't have to worry about patrol ships, and we certainly don't have to worry about walls. They're irrelevant. So here we go then. So it's just a case of, in the total number of turrets, how many there is there? Oh, let's just drop that down. Right, here we go. So defense platform 5 with APOX. So we'll just go for 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, if there are any. It's the all-up number you're looking for. So there's 2 there at level 5. So right, 2 of those. And it's because of different specials. And there's 2 more at level 5. And there's another one that's level 5. And another one at level 5. And a level 6. And basically you can see all this, you just keep going down the list of the turret levels until you got all your turrets. First level 4. Okay, so that should be the full complement of turrets then. Let's slip across. Now bear in mind this is OP. Let's go back up to the top quickly. So we're still on Outpost 7 at the moment, not Outpost 8. So this has already been set up by Larry then to have the full 20 turrets. However, that's not what we're going to be using for the moment. So those bottom 2 turrets, until its OP8 is up and running, that's going to be 0 and 0, because they don't exist as we stand at the moment. So let's go up and let's count all the top level turrets first. So how many 6s have we got? I made that calculation of 5. Okay, so number 1 to 5 are going to be 6. So the first 2 are done, and then that's going to be a 6, a 6, and a 6. And there's 5 of them. And then we're going to count out the number 5s. Well, according to this, it's every one bar 1. There was only one level 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that should make up the total figure of 18 turrets, which it does. So that's our calculation for our base. That's the setup. There's nothing else to do. All the rest of it can be ignored. No walls do nothing, and the fitment does nothing either. It's just the level is all we're interested. So now we've got to do is work out the bubble pad itself. So let's jump back in. And what we'll do is we'll just exit base planner. Discard what we've been messing around with. And then let's just take a look at it. So as you can see, the areas over here from obviously the oil right down to the Great Hall. All that area there we want to encompass. So all we do now then is start at the bottom at the Great Hall and we work upwards. And everything that's on that exterior right hand side of the base at the 3 o'clock position, basically, all the way up there to the 1 o'clock position of that oil rig, we are going to class that as a bubbled item. So the first things we're going to pick up is how many turrets we got and what size are they. We know the warehouses, they're easy. And they're all there, aren't they? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 warehouses, all at level 14. So let's do those first, because that's simple. Let's scroll back down, find the warehouses. And it's this column here, by the way, just so you're aware. Destroyed. Okay. So click in here, and it's a drop-down menu. It's quite straightforward. So that was destroyed. That was destroyed. And as soon as I start doing that, down the bottom, the percentage of destroyed pops up. There you go, 5.2%. Or 5.02% in fact. Which is obviously nowhere near a bubble yet, is it? And it's still saying no bubble. So let's continue with the rest of the turrets. Sorry, the warehouses. That's done. Okay, jumping back across again. What else do we have then? We've got at least 2 turrets over here. In fact, it is just 2 turrets. So we need to work out what they are. And there you go, we've got 1 level 5 turret there. And we've got another level 5 turret there. So there are 2 level 5 turrets to consider. So, base damage calculator again. Scroll down to where the turrets are. Pick up our first level 5 turret. And there it is in turret slot number 6. And we say, yes, that one there is going to bubble. And then it's also number 7 is a yes, it's going to bubble. Good. I don't think this base will bubble, to be honest, but there we have a look. Now, what else do we have in there? So let's have a quick look. We have got, as I said, we've got the Great Hall. Okay. We've also got the small wind. We've also got the naval lab. There is a level 10 oil rig. In fact, I think all the oil rigs are over there, aren't they? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top, isn't there? And there's 1 in the channel. So if there's 6 oil rigs, we can put those straight away, can't we? And there are, aren't there, as well? So actually, let's just do those first, because that's an easy thing to do. Okay, so that's the oil rigs done. So like I said, we've got the Great Hall itself, the Naval Lab, the Advanced Lab, and then moving up. There's a little metal factory, that's in there as well, isn't it? And there's the Zinth as well, so those are both in there, which is good. We've also got then the Intel lab. As you can see, we've got the retrofit lab itself. And at the top, we've got the TAC lab, haven't we? We've got the War Academy. And then we've got the weapons lab. So, all our researchables +2, and the rest of them. So, slip back across again. Let's go back up the top. So we had all 5, didn't we? We had the weapons lab, yeah. And then we had the naval lab itself. And the advanced Intel, retrofit, tactical. Okay, so those are done. What are we left with? The Great Hall itself, we've got that one. Okay. And the War Academy was there, wasn't it? The other things are there as well, so we can just say the War Academy, the Great Hall. The radio tower is there. I saw that. And the trading post. The launch pad wasn't. Where is the launch pad? Tucked over there, look out the way. So we can't class that. Well, there we go, there's the radio tower. And there's a trading post. So that's included. So just a couple more resources and we're done. And then we'll look at our percentages and we'll work out what we have to do so it creates a bubble. So we had obviously the metal, that was in there, wasn't it? As was that energy. So it's not just a case of like what's in there, it's the percentages as well. So at the moment we've got 2 turrets in there, we've got all our resource generators in there, we've got our warehouses in there, we've got some of our utility buildings but not everything. Obviously the dock isn't in there itself. Oh, the shipyard was in there, wasn't it? Let's have a quick look. No, it's not. Oh yes it is, there it is, shipyard level 3. So let's add that to the package. Just look at that, 0.9%. However, it adds up. Launchpad wasn't in it, and obviously the outpost wasn't in it either. So that's us, we're set at the moment. Now clearly you can see at the top, look, it says no bubble. Why? It's 24.3%, that's why. So we've got 1 or 2 things to do here. We can add a resource generator and bring it back up if we wanted to. But if we look at the what do they give you on resource generators? They don't give you hardly anything, do they? 0.1% for a level 6, 0.2% for a level, so you could add them all basically, you still wouldn't get, well, 0.2%. And what are we talking here? We're looking for 0.7% to create a bubble. It's not a great deal, is it? However, let's look down to some turrets. So we can pull across one of these turrets. That bubble pad will work with the AP7. It doesn't matter which one it is. The question is, how is it going to affect the base? Or do we update our warehouse? Let's look back at the base and zoom out. And I know where I'm going to put the turret from. The turret is over here. And there's a cold snap there sitting on a level 5. So where would I put it? Well, there's 2 cold snaps sitting over here at the moment. So the simplest answer for now is to move the metal factory out of the way and pick up that level 5 cold snap and drop it in over there. Go back to the base damage calculator. Get into the turrets. And there's another level 5, and let's just call the next one, so there's 3 of them now, a yes. And straight away, look, the percentages you can see, 26.37%. Go back up to the top. And the word bubble appears now. So that base is now set. So, well, so what we need to do now then is quickly go back into base planner and click apply. And we're done. And that was it. I mean, we'd save that. But we can save that as well. Our total rebase design is going to come, obviously with OP8 and the new turrets. But for now, so that's how you set a bubble patch. That's it. And that's it done, basically. Everything from that oil rig right the way around. If you're going to get prep first, down as far as the Great Hall itself. That equates then to 26. 26.4%. Yeah, because it's rounded up. 26.4% is slightly under. But that's enough to bubble the base. Now, clearly I've moved one of the turrets out the back, but ultimately that was just there to protect the dock. There's still a basilisk around the corner, so it's not really required. However, let's just close this. Looking at the base, what do you notice? We notice the upgrade's coming. That building has only got a few days to go. In fact, it's got a few hours to go. OP8 is on its way. So let's prepare for OP8. Look at the massive changes about to happen. So at 26.4% is what we're talking about at the moment, with an OP7. Okay, and those turrets won't change yet until we do something after OP8's updated. Let's change OP8 to OP from 7 to 8. And look at that, it's 26.4%, but the very second I update it, there you go, bang, 13.2%. Clearly not a good position to be in. So what are we going to do? Well, as we all sort of know, the simplest thing to do for a quick fix, which you can use base parts for, is to upgrade 1 or 2 warehouses in your bubble patch. Just be cautious which ones you use, because I can see here then there's a warehouse there that's not got any protection on it. It's not been fortified at all, as opposed to, bear in mind, they were like putty before, so people used to try and fortify and make them last a bit longer, but now with the fact that they can be upgraded to level 14 and they get a massive increase in defense stats, the fact that you want them to bust now because it's using a bubble pad concept. So if you fortify them, as you can see there, look, an additional 50% defense stats. However, there's one there. So let's see what we need to do. We're just going to change the grades. We're not going to move what's destroyed, what's not destroyed. It's just going to mess around a little bit with the items that have been destroyed, and let's get it back as close as we can then to that 25%, magic 25% figure. So we've got quite a bit of climbing to do. So is it 1 or 2 warehouses? Let's drop down here. Let's go up first. Now bear in mind, a level 13 warehouse, as you can see there, only accounts then for 1.3% of this new OP8 base. Drop back down again, and there we go, look, straight away that base is now going to bubble. But what's also good, bear in mind I said that OP8 will be coming in less than 6 hours. So upgrading 1 warehouse, look at the jump from 1% to 23.4% just for 1 warehouse upgrade. So if anybody's upgrading all the warehouses thinking I'll get loads more resources, be cautious. That's not the wise thing to do. Now then, we'll leave that turret where it was, the one we moved from the back near the dock, just to give it a bit of cover, up until for the next 5 or 6 hours, because it's not going to be needed now, is it? Because we're at 32%, or nearly 33. So what we can do then is we can cancel that turret and put it back where it was, which is the 3rd level 5 turret, which is this one here, isn't it? So we get that to a no now. We're still down to 31.9%. Okay, so defending of turrets, we can see then there's a Drac scattergun there. It's not in the bubble patch area. There it is there, look. However, you probably want it to last quite a long time because it's sort of like one of the main turrets for your defense in your channel. So if we were to upgrade that once OP8's been done and we've done the warehouse, what's the impact? That's the question. So basically that's going to turn that level 6 turret into a level 7 turret. Let's see the difference. So at the moment we're at 31.9%. So we've got a bit to play with, haven't we, to be honest? Nearly 7%. Let's see what happens then. Let's turn our first turret, which is from a 6 to a 7. Okay, and that's jumped up to 14%. Was that a wise thing to do? It's still bubbled, it's 28.3%. So that's probably the first thing, or one of the first things to upgrade. Either something on the centre island from a level 6 to a level 7. And there's plenty of turrets there to do that with. But of your shorter range turrets that you want to live the longest, that's probably one of the ones you want. Or to use a basilisk because of the fire rate. But that draconian scatter has got a massive impact on the incoming ships. So for me personally then, for this base, which is my brother's, and I bet he's doing this because he's at work, as soon as his OP8 is done, I would do one warehouse, put the turret back behind the dock, and then upgrade this turret here to level 7. Doing that to level 7 will put him back to 28.3%, which is acceptable. And then all I would do after that then is basically upgrade the turrets, one inside the bubble patch, one outside the bubble patch, and just keep rotating inside, outside, inside, outside, so you keep the ratios the same. And that's it. So that's the base damage calculator. That's how to work out. You can save this, by the way. It does save. You can pop it out of here and then save it to your desktop as well. So you've got your own version of it, and then you can just keep this and then just update the turrets as and when you make an amendment. Obviously, reset your base. You're going to need to change what gets destroyed and what doesn't get destroyed. But if you don't change your base design too much, this is now saved for you. You can save the spreadsheet itself. You don't even have to have Excel. Fortunately, the profs made it a fully inclusive document, so you just have to download it, save it to your desktop or into a folder somewhere, and then bring it up again, and then adjust your figures accordingly. So there we go. I hope that was helpful. And that's it. Your base hit point calculator is saved. The base is saved. It's bubbling at the moment. We'll move that turret back in a few hours' time, and then we'll upgrade the other turret to level 7. I hope that's been helpful. Any questions? Obviously, you can put them below the stream because I'll upload it now. Okay, take care.